Alleluia. 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 The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Stay dressed for action and keep your lamps burning, and be like men who are waiting for their master to come home from the wedding feast, so that they may open the door to him at once when he comes and knocks. Blessed are those servants whom the master finds awake when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will dress himself for service and have them recline at table, and he will come and serve them. If he comes in the second watch or in the third and finds them awake, blessed are those servants. But know this, if the master of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have left his house to be broken into. You also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect." Peter said, "Lord, are you telling this parable for us or for all?" And the Lord said, "Who then is the faithful and wise manager, whom his master will set over his household to give them their portion of food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that servant says to himself, 'My master is delayed in coming,' and begins to beat the male and female servants, and to eat and drink and get drunk, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know. And he will cut him in pieces and put him with the unfaithful. And that servant who knew his master's will, but did not get ready or act according to his will receive a severe beating. But the one who did not know and did what deserved a beating will receive a light beating. Everyone to whom much was given, of him much will be required. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand the more." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. Whereas we heard this morning from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 11, 1 to 12. The second reading of today, taken from the letter to the Hebrews, talks about faith. What faith is, how certain men and women in the Bible lived their faith, how they demonstrated their faith, especially in the face of challenging situations and circumstances. The reading specifically mentioned how Abraham and his wife Sarah believed God, trusted his promises and guidance, even when things weren't too clear for them. So in the light of today's reading, may we ask ourselves some pertinent questions. As a Christian, what does it mean for you to have faith in God? Also, how can you rate your Christian faith? Is it strong, very strong, wobbling, struggling, or is very conditional? It depends on how you feel about God at any particular point in your life. Generally, people understand faith to be a belief in God. That is, I believe there is God. I believe in the existence of God. But it's not enough. To have faith in God translates or means more than believing in the existence of God. It means believing and trusting in the existence of God, believing and trusting His powers, believing and trusting His promises, and then accepting His teachings as true and binding, even when I do not fully understand them. Therefore, faith in God means relying on God's character and faithfulness. Now, looking at Abraham's faith, when God promised Abraham a son and numerous descendants, Abraham and his wife Sarah, they believed. Although at the time, biologically and medically speaking, they were incapable of conceiving a child because of their age. But the striking thing about Abraham's faith is that Abraham never brought his human reasoning or logic into his affairs, into his relationship with God. For example, when God asked him to move to a distant country, without telling him the details, the location, the name, Abraham said, okay. When he told him, I'm going to give you a son, even in your 80s and 90s, Abraham said, okay. He never asked how. He never asked for the details. He never expressed his logic or human reasoning or even made some arguments. How is it going to be? That is one striking thing about Abraham's faith. Indeed, one of the things that challenge our faith in God, or put it this way, one of the reasons why we struggle in our relationship with God, especially regarding faith, is that as human beings, we are ever curious to know everything and to understand everything about God, about life, even about the church. Indeed, human beings are inherently curious. Often we have questions, we have reservations about God, about the credibility of the Bible, about the teachings of the church, the problem of evil in the world. Why are people suffering? Why is the world troubled when there is a merciful and powerful God? There are a lot of questions, and also there are things that are not very clear to us. And as human beings, because of our curiosity, we keep asking, searching, but often we don't have satisfying answers. For some young guys out there, and some of you are in this church, some of the things we are doing within the context of our Christian religion do not make sense to most of you, because science tells you that for you to believe in anything, you must subject that into empirical observation, to experiment, so that you'll be able to prove it and be able to know it and be able to explain it. This is what science tells you. But this faith is different from science. And when you come with that reasoning, it happens therefore that when we come to God with all this our scientific thinking and human logic and reasoning, because of our curiosity to know, and when that curiosity is not satisfied, doubt creeps in. We no longer question, we begin to doubt, because our curiosity is not satisfied. Someone as a Christian might be wondering, as a Christian for over years, I still have questions about the things we do in the church, the teachings of the church. I have my reservations. What should I do? Number one, we must understand that having faith does not mean having clarity about God. As human beings, we can never fully understand anything at all with absolute certainty, even in the face of evidence. No matter how smart we are, no matter how intelligent we are, every religion requires us, every religion, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, every religion requires us to believe something we can't prove. Every religion requires adherents to accept something they cannot fully understand. And that is the mystery of religion. And that is the mystery of God. And that is where faith comes in. That although I do not fully understand, because there is a limit to my human reasoning. Therefore, where my human reasoning stops, my faith takes over. Sometimes I try to spare myself the frustration of trying to know everything about God and to understand everything the church teaches, even as a priest. So I have come to understand, and I appreciate it today, that my reservations, my unanswered questions can perfectly coexist with my faith. When I don't understand, instead of leaning back, I lean more in, because I believe by digging deep, I will understand. And when you have crisis in your faith, or faith crisis as a Christian, when your faith is struggling for whatever reasons, maybe you don't understand what is going on in your life, or you don't understand why things are happening the way they are doing, or things are not clear to you, appreciate it as part of the Christian journey. In all sincerity, it is normal for you to have questions about your religion, questions about God. You don't need to cancel your church membership or stop coming to church because you don't understand everything that is done in the church. It is normal to have questions about God. It is okay to have moments of doubt and uncertainty. What do you do when it begins to happen is that when you begin to feel you're losing grip or your relationship with God because your faith is struggling, try to share your doubts and your confusions with those who share the same belief with you. They might offer you some comfort or new perspective. So going back to our lead questions, what does it mean for you to believe in God, to have faith in God? It's not just believing that there is one God, supreme being. It translates beyond that. And therefore, how can you rate your faith as a Christian? Can you say your faith is strong? Are you struggling? No matter the state of your faith, one good thing about faith, Christian faith, is that it grows. It develops. So when you are in a situation that you question a lot of things, you have your reservations about things we teach in the church or the Bible, or how the world is going on, even when there is a good and powerful God, be patient with yourself. And then be open also to receive inspiration. But in doing that also, you must acknowledge the limits of your mind as a human being. There are certain things that are beyond our full comprehension. Try to connect with the people who can also boost your faith. The people we talk about in the Bible today, Abraham, Sarah, and the rest, who lived and demonstrated strong faith, they also had, at various points in their lives, they had also their moments of doubt and uncertainty. For example, when God told Sarah, "Oh, you're going to have a child," oh, she waved it by the side. Then later on, she picked up her faith. "Oh, yes, I believe, I trust." So faith, if you have not experienced crisis in your faith, then I will begin to doubt the correctness and the sincerity of your faith. So, but when that comes, please, it's not a moment to disconnect. It's not a moment to stop believing. It is a moment to start asking more questions that will lead you nearer to God. But remember, there's a limit to human knowledge, and there is certain things we can never fully understand about God. As I said, these men and women, they had their moments of doubt and uncertainties, but they pulled through. You too, we too, we can pull through when we have crisis of faith. But to pull through, we must understand that God is beyond our human comprehension.